What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So there is some news I did want to go over today about Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. Now this did actually release yesterday on Twitter, but I had to talk about this and make a video about it. So when looking at the Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown page on X, you're probably going to read something like this. To better prepare for the first official season of the Solar Crown Live, we have decided to postpone its launch to October 2nd. This will also allow us to release our first major patch a few days before the season begins, ensuring optimal conditions for everyone. Now, I do know for a fact, though, from looking at the Discord and looking at different posts from a lot of people, this is not going to sit well with basically the entire community. The reason is, well, guys, a lot of players are still having issues with the game getting on it. Personally, I have to admit right now on the North American servers on the East Coast, I have actually had barely any issues so far. Probably want to knock on some wood there. But I would probably say it's going to run fairly smooth, but that's not going to be the case for everybody. A lot of players still can't complete races, people can't get on the game, and a lot of people are still getting save errors when they actually play, which is going to mean that you can actually grind for hours on end and lose a ton of levels and progress from grinding that entire time to go after a car you wanted. Maybe you unlocked a bunch of the roads and stuff, and then boom, it's all going to be gone when you actually log on. I did apparently hear about someone getting to like level 45, then it put them back to 30. That's going to be pretty devastating, man. Like, I can't blame someone for being angry. But now if we're actually going to get a main update coming out in around 2 weeks from now that's going to fix it, that is a pretty big window. I would say a lot of players are like, alright, so 2 weeks, bro. I'll just put the game down, then come back to it in 2 weeks, and then hopefully the patch fixes everything. Remember in that Steam blog post, they did talk about a 300 fixes or something, which is a lot. Hopefully they actually put all of those in there. That would be amazing. And we all do know a lot of things need tweaking, like the AI and stuff. The physics might need it. Maybe a slight meta change and stuff in some areas, which I'll touch on that in a video in a couple of days. But I would say a lot of players are probably looking for that patch like legitimately yesterday. The thing is though, guys, I do understand a few ways they're probably trying to get a huge patch out. At least this is probably me being a bit optimistic. I might get attacked in the comments. But I do feel like they're probably going to get a huge patch out. Now, I'm not saying that's okay to go an entire month, because think about this, guys. The Gold Edition released on September 5th. We're actually getting the patch for the main update, which I would say is going to be maybe the end of September again, 2 days before the main launch of the Solar Pass, which is almost an entire month after the Gold Edition came out. Like, that's a while. Now, a lot of people might be like, well, why are they waiting an entire month to get an update out? Guys, we can admit this right now. Every single game I can think of in recent time did a similar thing. They basically took a month or so to fix something. Need for Speed Unbound did it. We also saw that with SnowRunner. Remember that game was crashing a lot. Then after like a month, they did put a patch out. And then I also do know Motorfest had a similar thing as well with it having issues. Then they did end up putting a patch out fixing some of them. I do know last gen apparently were having issues crashing and stuff. It took them a few months. And then boom, they actually got a patch out fixing some of those problems. So I wouldn't necessarily say like an entire month from an update is going to be something odd, but it is probably going to make players mad because that's an entire month of basically no updates, people having issues on the game. We all do know there's apparently maintenance stuff going on, guys, but let me know in the comments. Are you actually seeing a difference with that? For me personally right now, the biggest thing I actually want in this game is to be able to save the things around the map. The Ferrari dealership, the meeting points, the gas stations, they're still not saving for me, man. It's kind of annoying because the areas where they are kind of far away. I like some of the races there. I don't really mind driving over there, but some players want to fast travel, go grind some races out because maybe they don't have a ton of time to play, and we might not actually see something like that fixed for another 2 weeks. Like, that's a bit frustrating. So I can definitely understand people not being happy with it. On the other side of that, guys, there's a lot of other things players want. Like, again, the AI definitely needs some changes. It's kind of annoying actually picking certain cars you do want to drive in them. You know, let's say the race is going to be 950. You pick a car you want, and somehow the other AI are going to be 90 levels under you, but they're going faster pretty much like their cars is 200 levels ahead of yours, and you're probably like, okay, let me pick a different car, then you can beat them. It's kind of a bit annoying though, because even in some of the better cars, some of the AI are legitimately insane. So again, that's probably going to take a couple of weeks to fix it. That is most likely going to be in a legitimate patch that does come out. But guys, I have to admit, looking at the Discord and stuff, I can definitely understand why people are not happy with this. It probably is not going to look all that great to a lot of players that did end up buying this game. And man, Here's the thing, I really can't get mad or like pretty much like defend it because look, that is probably not a good way to do it. The game is going to be really fun when it does work. I love the core gameplay of it. Racing in this game and driving around the map is such a great experience, but the key thing though is when it actually works. If players want to get on, they can't be getting a save game issue. They can't be having other problems on the game like the server disconnecting. And on top of that, I was hearing about people completely disconnecting from the Crown Jewel races 30 minutes in. That has got to be so dang frustrating, like I could not imagine that. Now, I do admit, though, apparently in the Discord and other things, I have seen that, well, the save game issue is apparently a tad better, but again, guys, let me know in the comments below. Now, personally, on the PS5, the biggest issue I have had recently, probably around the last week or so, is the game crashes a lot. And I actually mean legitimately crashes, like my screen will go completely black. I actually think my PS5 completely freezes, then boom, I see the error thing that I can report the game crashing. It could happen like 3 or 4 times in an hour, then other times the game is completely fine for 2 or 3 hours. I honestly don't understand it. But I have to admit it's pretty dang annoying when that does end up happening. Now the thing is, guys, I have to admit this right now. I know I'm probably going to get attacked because I did end up making that video a while ago saying, give the game a chance. And in ways I still go by that, but at the exact same time, I completely understand why people are thinking the way that they do. In ways, I'm also a tad concerned, like, is this game going to have a future? Like, are we going to see Ibiza? Are we going to see some of these updates? I'm kind of in a similar boat, man, because that launch was really rough. But there's probably another part of me that's being insanely optimistic going, okay, but you know what? A few updates and boom, the game is going to be so much better. Now, I'm probably going to get some attacking and stuff going, bro, lay off the copium. Like, the game is doomed. Like, I understand that, but here's the thing. A lot of games do have rough launches, so I'm trying to give it the benefit of the doubt. We all do know the entire dev team is smaller and stuff, so who knows, maybe they might actually get the updates out and this game could be incredibly good as time does go on. At the same time, though, I can definitely see where everyone is coming from, man. Like, don't get me wrong. You did end up spending around $90 on the gold edition on this game and you couldn't even play it. Now you're actually looking to be able to just save your progress, play the game, not have the entire connection timing out, but instead you're actually still going to be having issues unless they do end up releasing a few more maintenance things, which I would probably guess they're going to have a couple of more of those before the big patch, so hopefully some of these server issues will also get a tad better before that patch does come out. But I hate to say it, like the initial like discovery bug with like the gas stations and like dealerships, that is probably not going to be fixed until an actual patch does come out. The reason is I feel like it's probably going to be a legitimate bug. Every time I actually find them, they disappear. Everybody hates it. As I mentioned before, not everybody wants to drive 10 or 15 minutes to grab one of them just to have that point active to do a couple of races. Like, that does need to be fixed, bro. But again, that's probably going to be a couple of weeks out, and that's not going to sit well with a lot of people. And this might end up sounding a bit sad, but I do actually think in some ways many of the actual player base right now in the game itself are most likely going to be putting the game down until the big patch actually comes out because, they don't want to mess with the issues right now. Maybe it will get fixed then, and they'll give the game another shot. I also don't want to say this, guys, but I'm going to guess and say right now that in October, we are going to see a sale on Test Drive. Like, I think that's going to happen. The reason why I say that is this launch is probably going to hurt it to where they're most likely going to have to put a small sale on it to get more people back in it after the big patches come out, and hopefully those things are fixed. And then we're, of course, going to have a stronger fan base. That's probably the hopeful goal anyway. Now, I do know people are going to be like, man, this game is trash being on sale in a month. Guys, I have to admit it, other racing games did the same thing. I think Unbound had a similar sale pretty early. Motorfest, I spent $120 on it, and then not even a month later, the game was like 50 bucks. So, like, it happens to games, man. Like, I get it. But if you are paying full price, though, you are probably paying for something you do truly want and you want to play it. But if the game is going to have issues or bugs or something like that, like there is issues in it, then yeah, bro, that is probably going to be a big problem. Like a good example, guys, if you actually buy the gold edition or something and play the game earlier, we all do know a lot of games tend to have early accesses to them. If you did actually buy that, you had the game a week early. Many people, though, could barely even log into the game the first 4 or 5 days. Like, that doesn't look good. That was probably tens of thousands of people most likely turning the game back in or refunding it, and they're probably like, maybe I will come back to the game. I mean, maybe in the future if it's better, and I'm also going to wait for a sale because I'm not going to waste my money on that again. And the thing is, though, that is going to be a completely valid argument. Now, I have to admit this again, guys. I do understand it's probably going to sound like a bit of copium, but I really do like the game. I want it to do great. I feel like everybody most likely wants it to do great. So I'm really hoping the patches actually get it on the right path there because that is definitely needed. But I do admit, though, a 2-week window for that is going to be absolutely ridiculous. Like, I do feel like a lot of players are most likely going to put the game down for a bit, and then they're probably going to come back to it in something like the first patch and go, okay, is it going to be fixed now? Can I play it? Can I actually do races? Am I going to get disconnected? That is probably what is most likely going to happen. I'm also having high hopes for the main solar pass as well with that update. Like, maybe we can get better matchmaking and stuff for the ranked and all that, which I think could probably happen. But then again, guys, only time is going to tell. Do let me know what you guys think about this in the comments below. I would definitely say this is by far going to be some awful news. When I saw this on X, I was like, bro, there is no way, man. 2 more weeks. Like, have you all seen the Discord? Do you see what people are saying right now, man? That is probably not going to go that great with the fan base. And it does turn out that was very factual. People are going to not be happy with this. I do know a lot of people are most likely going to put the game down until that 1 week when the patch actually comes out. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. Oh, there's also one more thing I did want to talk about. We all do know about like these server issues and stuff like that going on, but there's another part of it that is going to be the graphical and optimization problems that everybody is not happy with. We all do know right now the game doesn't look that great, guys. We can all agree on it. It does need some graphical help. And on top of that, I would say the optimization is going to be tanking pretty hard in this. The reason for that is everyone's having issues with like the game not rendering in. We all do know the game doesn't look that great super far away. Yes, we understand that. On top of that, I do actually notice having the stuttering and stuff is a bit annoying, but I really do hope that patch is going to have a big optimization part to it that is also going to fix the graphics just slightly. Again, this is going to be 2 weeks out, so that has to be part of it. They pretty much have to have everything in this patch, bro. Like, if they miss a few things and go, okay, guys, here's this patch, but the graphical and the optimization update is going to be another 3 weeks to 1 month out. Imagine, guys, for a quick second, what that would actually do to the community. Like, I don't even want to see it. The Discord is probably going to be blowing up in every possible way, including all these social medias on top of it. Every time I look at something like on X, for example, with Test Drive, guys, a lot of this stuff is not very positive, and I can't really blame people for feeling this way. All we can really do at this point is hope that the game actually turns around, but I really do have to admit it's going to be awful news that we're not going to be getting the big patch for another 2 weeks. Like, that's just so far out. But again, guys, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below. I would almost guarantee on this most people are not going to be happy about it, and I really do hate to admit, but I think a lot of people will put the game down until the big patch comes out alongside of the Solar Pass, which will hopefully get the game back on track. But again, 2 weeks out, bro.